Here we go, example 4. Factor 8a squared minus 14ab plus 3b squared. So remember in some of our other questions when we had the a squared here and some other value squared here, some other variable squared here, we didn't really worry about it. We just made sure that when we wrote our binomial brackets, in the end, there would be an a, and of course there would be a b, and it would all work out. So that's what we need to remember. Except now we're going to end up something with coefficients in front of this a, and probably in front of this b. Well, for sure in front of this b. Okay, so no worries about that right now. We still follow our same steps that we've been looking at. We look for two numbers that, I'm going to do it right above here, maybe I'll have a bit more room. Two numbers that when multiplied together give us a times c, this being a, this being c, which is 8 times 3, or 24. And those same two numbers add together to give us negative 14. B, negative 14. So I think, okay, well, what are my factors of 24? And we just did this. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. My product, whoops, over here, my product and my sum. My product has to be a positive 24. And my sum was a negative 14. So if my product is positive, they either both have to be positive or they both have to be negative. My sum is negative, so somewhere in there has to be a negative. So these all have to be negative values. So I look at my products. Negative 1 times negative 24 is 24. But when I add those two together, I get negative 25. So this is not going to work. Negative 2 and negative 12, yes, gives me a positive 24. Negative 2 plus negative 12 is a negative 14. So that's actually the one we're looking for. I could check the rest. This is going to give me 24. This would actually give me negative 11. This would give me 24. But this would actually give me negative 10. So this one's not going to work. This one's not going to work. There's my combination of integers, negative 2, negative 12. That gives me a product of 24 and a sum of negative 14. So negative 2, negative 12. So I can go back over here. Negative 2, negative 12 gives me negative, or positive 24. Negative 2, negative 12. 12 gives me negative 14. Exactly what I want. Step 1, find your integer number. Step 2, decompose. Split this middle term up into the two values you just figured out. 8a squared minus 2, in this case, ab, minus 12ab, and then plus 3b squared. Alright, so far so good. So when I simplify this up, that would combine back to the negative 14ab. So we're all good. Next step, factor by grouping. Make two groups. Find the greatest common factor of the first group, 8a squared and minus 2ab. Well, they're both going to divide by 2. They're both going to divide by a. This is going to be 4a minus b. Over here, again, remembering that rule I told you, if this is negative, factor out a negative value, chances are it's going to have to happen. So negative something, in this case both 12 and 3 divide by 3, and a b. So this is going to give me negative 12ab divided by negative 3b is 4a, and then positive 3b divided by 3b, or 3b squared divided by 3b. Negative 3b is going to give me 1 minus 1b. And you can see at this point, these have to be the same. Gives me one factor. Oops. Excuse me, minus b, one factor. My other factor, what I factored out, 2a minus 3b. Factored.